Matters here in the country, and I'm speaking to Honorable Lady Justice Lucy Mbugua. Thank you so much once again for staying with us. Before we went for a break, we were talking about issues to do with why it was so different when it comes to how the courts in different parts of the country, handle different issues depending on the region itself, because what is happening in Mombasa is not likely similar to what is happening in Nairobi as far as land is concerned. But I want us now to transition to something different here, and this has to do with matters environment, because this is an environments and lands court. Where does the environment come in this particular case?
What I can say is that environmental issues, they are not litigated upon in robustly as they should. Yet we know that they should be adjudicated upon. And when the court was formed, it was felt that there is need to have a dedicated court to handle environmental issues, environmental disputes. The rationale being that if those issues are left like that, they are not litigated upon, there is no one to guard environmental rights. Okay. So this court is very important in guarding environmental rights, in shepherding the issues like climate justice, human rights issues that are involved in matters of environmental governance. Because issues of environment do not just affect me. They will affect not just you, but even the future generations. Right. We call them the intergenerational equity. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And I think this is where now the event that is scheduled from November 25th to 29th at the Moi University School of Law in Eldoret, this particular conference themed that the role of the courts in remedying climate change chaos, which is a call for distributive and procedural justice. Let's talk about climate justice on this particular matter, this particular event. This event, what are we looking forward to having in this particular event?
What we are looking forward is to have a platform where people can share ideas. Climate justice and matters of environment, they can be a bit scientific. Let me say they are actually scientific. Yeah. They are technical. If we start talking about carbon trading, even I myself, I don't know what happens. Or do you go to the market and start selling the air? Yeah. So these are technical issues. So we are looking forward to a platform where we shall have eminent persons, people who have knowledge of these issues, climate justice, environmental matters, and they are those eminent persons are locally, the ones in the local sphere, and the ones from the global world. They will all come, and we shall have a chance to listen to them. Okay. We shall have a chance to share ideas and interact with them, because these are not people you can just call even here and start asking them questions. And you see, it is not just us who are going to benefit from that. It's a platform where everybody has been invited, although through a registration. You have to register to attend the conference. We are not discriminating. Even the students, we have invited them. We have invited the community members, meaning that we are giving everyone a chance to tap or leverage on the knowledge of these experts. Okay. Because the court, or the judges who man these courts, they are the ones who have given the mandate to adjudicate these environmental disputes, matters relating to climate justice. All right. But judges are lawyers. They are not geologists. They are not scientists. So you can see, it's very, very important that judges get to interact with these persons. Okay.
So it's also a learning experience.
It's a learning experience.
So that even when you are adjudicating on these particular issues,
yes, you are well informed.
Exactly.
Yes.
Why Eldoret though? Why Eldoret? Why not Nairobi?
As I had told you earlier, the first conference we held in 2022, that was the first one, we held it in Kilifi. Okay. This time it's Eldoret. So you can see the trend. We just want to be all inclusive. such that we don't confine ourselves to Nairobi, such that next round we shall pick another town.
Okay.
So this one brings the notion that we want to include everyone in this process.
Okay.
Yes.
What is the role of the court when it comes to matters climate justice? And you know, what the theme actually says, remedying climate change chaos.
Yes. So the court has a role to, first of all, the major role is first to adjudicate on those disputes.
Yep.
And ensure that the enforcement process is smooth, it's legal.
Okay.
So when you bring on board the enforcement stakeholders, like the county government, the national government, bodies entrusted with enforcing the decisions, you speak with one voice. So you see the court is playing a role of having, is it called moving beyond the boundaries of the judiciary in ensuring that everyone also will play their role. When we are playing our role of adjudicating, doesn't stop there. Other stakeholders involved in environmental justice, they will also be able to play their role and ensure that there's smooth processes in adjudication of environmental matters.
Okay.
Also bringing awareness, I had said the communities, it's very important to bring the communities on board so that they are aware of matters concerning climate justice.
Okay.
I think we had talked about communities leasing their land to multinationals or big people. So even on matters climate justice, community land, or you know, that land that is owned by the communities can be leased to people who are trading in matters of climate justice, those carbon trading and all that. And we have no clue as to what happens in those processes. So those agreements eventually between those communities and the multinationals or individuals who are coming to lease their land, the disputes, they will eventually land on environment and land court.
Okay.
So if even us, we need to be aware of those processes.
So it doesn't sound like a foreign language and somebody
yes,
is speaking about it. Let me get to understand, you know, in terms of maybe numbers, and maybe you don't have the you know, exact figures, but what would you say are the cases that you've been able to deal with when it comes to matters environment issues?
The cases, as I had said, they are not as many, but as I had mentioned...
Do we have a number?
For instance, now in Milimani, from 31st of July last year to date, we have 83 matters. 83 matters. 83
that
matters.
Just have to deal with the environment alone.
Environment alone.
Okay.
So even one environment case, it has a lot of impact into so many people. I have said not just us, even the future generation. And we even have a case where people are litigating on the actual issue of climate justice, where the waters took over people's land. I cannot comment much on it because it's an active case. Okay. But you can see we are now the reality is that such cases are catching up with us. The cases in Baringo, where the waters took over people's resorts, houses, land, and all that. Something akin to what happened in Afaflang Island. Is it called Kiribati? The one in Polynesia, French Polynesia, the Pacific area. Yes, Kiribati, Kiribati Island, where the ocean just started taking over their country. And they sat as a country. I read somewhere, it's somewhere I read, they sat as a country and came up with a framework on climate change. What are the strategies to undertake? And one of them was to migrate. They made a decision that they can start migrating, looking for host countries, so that they are not found there.
By the time it happens.
Sitting like just
very unprepared.
So even for us, we may not have such drastic circumstances where we need to relocate. But we can see that what is happening, issues of climate change are with us. We already have such cases in court. So the court has to be at par. The court has to be very knowledgeable. The court has to be ready to receive and adjudicate on such issues.
Okay,
yes.
so from what I'm hearing is that the issue to do with climate justice and actually adjudicating on this is actually something, you know, it's new territory for, you know, for the judiciary, and, you know, we learn as we progress on these particular matters. What would you say have been the cases that have been, you know, sold to conclusion and actually have a greatest impact as far as environment issues are concerned?
What I can say is that the court has been ready to, first of all, to reach out to stakeholders, like what we are doing.
Okay.
But away from the limelight of this conference, we have been holding other conferences, in-house conference, just for, you know, where we don't have very many stakeholders.
Okay.
Like this year in the beginning, we had one in Diani, where we still had very eminent persons coming to teach us on matters of climate change and environmental issues, and environmental governance. So the court has not been waiting just to prepare for this big conference. We've been doing it in the background. The court has also been holding open days. Again, I think in April this year, the entire country in one day, we held an open day undertaking issues concerning environmental governance. So each court, each environment and land court had its own activity, what it was doing on that issue. So for instance, here in Nairobi, the court went to Korogosho slums, and we went along the river. You know that river, Nairobi River, the one which is quite dirty, quite polluted. And we navigated along the boundaries of the river, and we saw what is being done there to take care of environmental justice. We found communities actually trying to take care of the environment. And in other places, people are planting trees. In other courts, people are cleaning the towns. So we are, you can see we are doing,
I can see
we are doing a lot outside our courtrooms. Yes.
So when it comes to people that are living along that particular river, that feel we need justice, where do they start? Who do they sue?
It's a very delicate issue. I can say it's a very delicate issue because you can see these are very needy communities in informal settlements. But you can see, like when the flooding came, it is not something we had expected. And mark you that flooding, it came about because of this climate change. Because climates have changed. The seasons have changed. No one expected such amount of flooding, but they came. And they swept entire communities. It is something very heart-wrenching. So if there is something that can be done, far much the better. But for us, what we observed in that particular place we went, we saw that communities had agreed to move away from the river, and they were planting crops. They were planting maize and other crops. There was even a place where they had planted grass, such that the place looked like a tourist place where there are some nice trees. You even have to open a small gate to enter. There's still another place where we observed, instead of having now those structures, those informal structures, they had greenhouses. Just greenhouses, so they are benefiting the community. But I think if those houses are swept away, no one is going to lose a lot. So they had paths, nice paths. And
so it's just really the community coming together to make a difference when it comes to issues to do with you know, the area they're actually residing.
The whole issue was being spearheaded by the Nairobi River Regeneration Committee, the one that I'm always seeing. It is the one which was shepherding the whole process. Yes.
I want to get to this. Maybe a landmark case that you've been able to deal with as the Environments and Lands Court, but now just dealing with the environment alone, that has been able to have a very great impact on our community. Which one would you say that has been?
Thank you. We have had several cases. I think there's a case in Mombasa. It's called the Uhuru Owino case, where there was pollution, very large-scale pollution by a certain company.
Okay.
And the whole communities were affected. They fell sick. Some were dying. I'm not the one who did the case, but I know about it. And the people were able to litigate upon that issue. And the company, the polluters, were actually found to be on the wrong. And these communities were awarded damages. But you see, Amoai, even if you are awarded damages when you are already damaged, it is still painful. But I think it's a lesson to other companies, would-be companies, who would wish to set up such facilities near people. You see, now they are warned. So such a case is a pace setter, such that it's preventive. It's not only adjudicating on the rights of those communities which were affected by that company, but it also acts as a deterrent measure for deterring other companies from undertaking such an activity.
All right.
So we have also the Dadora dump site case, and we have also Naivasha dump site case. Those ones, what the courts did is that the counties were given, we call them structural interdicts, whereby they are supposed to undertake measures to ensure that they comply with certain standards to ensure that eventually that issue of dumping will be resolved. Because the courts took it into consideration that even if you say that no more dumping, even that moment you are giving that order, so much tons and tons of garbage is being generated. So the reality is, where will that garbage go? In that garbage of the next 1 hour, that particular day, it's a reality that garbage has to be generated. So those decisions are there, and they are very good, and they will guide the people who are supposed to comply or to undertake those measures to play their role.
Okay, my final question will be, how does someone identify that their rights are being violated as far as matters environment is concerned, so that they actually begin the process of seeking justice as far as climate?
So what happens is that as an individual, it takes long for an individual to act on their rights. Usually what happens is that it's communities which are affected. For instance, if it's pollution, it will not just come to your house. It will come to your house and the neighbor and the neighbor and the neighbor. So people start talking. You know, it is slow. So it's a slow process. They start talking. What is happening? This smoke we are seeing every day. Every day. What kind of smoke is that? Then they start visiting the place. They knock. They inquire. They go to NEMA. So the whole process of navigating takes so long, such that by the time they feel that they need to go to court, people's health has been affected. Their rivers have been damaged. And they don't go alone. So they go as a class, mostly they go as a class action. So
it's not an individual.
So most of those cases we have seen, they are all class actions. But the individual cases are still there. But they are few. Yes.
Thank you so much. Honorable Lady Justice Lucy Mbugua, thank you so much for making time for this conversation here and helping us shed light on what the Environment and Lands Court actually does, and this particular conference that is coming on the 25th of November to the 29th, of course, at Moi University School of Law and its campus in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County. Now the ELC will host a pivotal conference themed "The Role of the Courts in Remedying Climate Change Chaos, a Call for Distributive and Procedural Justice," trying to explore the judiciary's critical role in combating climate change, safeguarding human rights, and ensuring sustainable development. Thank you so much for being part of this program this particular morning, of course, having an insightful conversation here on New Dawn. My name is Brian Amuai. Let's do this again when God says we do. Have yourselves a lovely day.